What's going on, YouTube world? I'm back at you with another one. I'm your host, Quizzy the Great, and my co-host next to me, down below me, is Bruno, aka Uncut Eagles Uncut 2.0, and this is the Eagles Unleashed podcast. And today, man, we got a special one, man. We got two big YouTubers in the game, man. You know they've been holding it down for the Birds, and hey, I appreciate y'all two boys for coming in, man. What's going on, BG, and what's going on, Shakes?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us on, man. Like, I love it. I love talking to birds, and let's get it, baby. We got a lot of news to talk about.
Hell yeah, we're coming off a really good week this week, and we got double trouble, man. We had a good day on Sunday, good day today, so definitely a lot to go over, man. It's good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, before we even get into the game, let's just go and talk about it. I gotta go and get us in here, man. I gotta go and get it. Since right here, man. Hey, today the Philadelphia Eagles, they went out and got our safety for the future. This is definitely a contender piece and what we needed for the team. So, hey, how do you boys feel about this trade? How we gave up I think it was a fifth round and a sixth round pick and Terrell Edmonds. So how y'all feel about this trade? Anybody can go.
Me.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, and it solidifies. I mean, it solidifies the safety spot for sure. I mean, we had to make a move because with Justin Evans being on IR, Terrell Edmonds playing as bad as he was, I'm actually really surprised they were able to add him to kind of sweeten the deal, I guess, to bring him. I feel like every time the Titans, we call the Titans, I feel like they're already just making deals with us at this point. You're getting a two-time Pro Bowler. I mean, the guy doesn't give up big plays. Guy's a tackler. Guy, Brian Dawkins loves this kid too for a long time. Kevin Byard is physical. He's a leader. I mean, it's already showing that the Tennessee Titans are kind of rebuilding at this point. And, the Titans paid like seven million of 11, $7 million of the 11 that he was owed. So it only costed the Eagles $2 million for really against the cap. He only cost a little over $2 million, which is a complete steal this year. So, I mean, this is the move we were waiting for. I mean, Kevin Byard was like the first one on my list. I mean, besides Justin Simmons and Buda Baker, some of these other guys, but from Philadelphia as well. So, he's coming to a team that's 6-1 right now, and he's going to take over the position. And once we get Reed Blankenship back, it's going to be even better. So, very, very big move, very good move.
Yeah. What about you, BG?
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. I really feel like it's good that we got a veteran guy back there. We got a lot of young cats back there. I like Sidney Brown, what he brings to the team, but he's gonna need a little time to grow. What I'm saying? He's out there, he make plays, but at the same time, we need a veteran if we're trying to win the Super Bowl. We need someone in that back end that knows what he's doing. I think he's like 90 something percent in terms of coverage for a safety back there. So that's really gonna help out with the passing game. And he's a two-time Pro Bowler, man. Like that's what we need back there. Some leadership, some guidance for these young players to get better. This is a player that can help Blankenship, that can help Sidney Brown get better, and all these young cornerbacks too. What I'm saying, everybody in the DB room has definitely got the whole DB room as a whole has gotten stronger. Now you got Slay, you got Bradbury, you got Byard here. It's sky's the limit for that DB room now. That solidifies the only weakness I really feel like our defense had. And I'm looking forward to him making big plays for us.
Yes, sir. What you want to add to that, Bruno?
Man, look, this was a completely steal, man. I don't think it was as big as it was on, like, whenever we stole pretty much AJ Brown from them. But I think like this is pretty close, man, and this is like something that we really needed, especially just like you said, Joey. The way that Emma was playing, man, it was just horrible, man. We needed something back there, especially not only that, but V Blankenship, he's been hurt a couple times already too, man. So just bringing on Gavin Byard in, just to strengthen that defense, which by the way played phenomenal yesterday. Is man, he got me so freaking excited. I'm not even gonna lie, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, so I feel the same way. Before I say what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna talk to the chat right quick. Hey, Weez, I got you on that ranch too, man. EC1, what's good, my boy? Diamond Creek Sports, what's good, my guy? Yeah, we up in here for sure, for sure. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like this definitely was a championship move. because we was lacking that leadership in the secondary for sure. As far as when it comes with the safety room, Terrell Edmonds, I feel like he just was taking up space, and dealing with Reed Blankenship being injured. I feel like they played a huge role in our secondary as well. But I feel like this is definitely the move we need to move forward. Like now we can truly contend and do what we need to do. We just need Hurst to be himself, to stop limit these turnovers, and I feel like we'll be good. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like Edmonds was really the plan B option when Chauncey left, and I did not think it was the answer. And I felt like they just had to sign somebody out of panic, I guess, because really, like before the draft this past year, we thought Javon Hargrave was the biggest loss, but come to find out, it really wasn't. It was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because you don't have that hybrid player. Since Jeremy Chin, I thought Jeremy Chin was a high prospect for us because he ended up getting hurt. He had the quad injury. He was out 6 weeks. So I thought, you have to take advantage of the teams that are like losing. They're going to rebuild. They're going to do, have a shopping spree on their offense or their defense, and everybody's up for sale at this point. So you're looking at the Broncos, you're looking at, the Panthers, but Tennessee's not really playing well either. You're kind of waiting for them to implode as well. So, and the Eagles took advantage of it. I didn't think they were going to get Kevin Byard. I didn't think it was going to happen the next day after this game that we just played. So hey, this is what happens when you're aggressive and, 5th and 6th round picks and getting rid of the worst safety on our team. Can't complain about it.
yeah,
I love the fact too that it's more familiar faces. Like another guy from Tennessee, he has a lot of familiar faces in the room. Another guy from Philadelphia. You see how any of these guys that were from Philadelphia, or other teams coming to Philadelphia, they're playing at a higher level on our team. So I really feel like that was just like it's like a double whammy in that sense. Not only did you get a good player, but you got someone that's going to come in and be motivated to play for the city he's from. So I think it's going to turn out really well for us here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I was saying, yeah, I think the same thing as well, man. On him coming in and bringing his experience, to help out Reed Blankenship, to help out and mold Sidney Brown, which that's one of the main important thing, man, is molding the Sidney Brown, for him to become the player that we all believe that he can become, And I think it's gonna be super huge, bringing Kevin Byard, to help mold Sidney Brown as well, man.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Lindy Endzone says big issue going forward is 3-4 of your DB room. On the 53 is over 30. The development is going to be a big talk of discussion during and after this season.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, you kept 7 cornerbacks on the roster this year, and I think the most highly likely one that's doing really well because I never seen a secondary get a lot of undrafted guys that get so many chances. Like, I don't think there's a lot of secondaries out there that really give undrafted guys a lot of. I mean, these coaches really give a lot of a lot of respect to these guys, just to at least start. But Eli Ricks, obviously, there's something there with him, covering Tyreek on 3 on 3 snaps and what he did, and I feel like there's a lot. I mean, you had 2 guys. Vontae Max got hurt. Jack McPherson was really supposed to be the backup nickel guy this year, and he ended up getting hurt. So I mean, yeah, you have the Eli with the Rodgers guy that got suspended for the gambling for the year. So that's another guy we have to watch out for. They can play special teams and play nickel spot as well. So they're just adding bodies. I mean, I get jealous sometimes with the cornerbacks, even around the league. Like I was watching Seattle, watching Devin Weatherspoon, how much of a beast he is and how physical he is, and just how he's got that pushback mentality. And I absolutely love it. I feel like there's got to be some youth in this secondary sooner or later, especially with our 2 outside corners, because I think Slay is a free agent after next year. I could be wrong. Next year after 24. Okay. After 24. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like youth has to be put, and I don't know if we have it as I think Eli Ricks is the closest thing we have right now, but they got to start cross training guys. They got to start doing a lot more with the rest of the depth that we have, but not because it's so early, there's really no promise right now because some of these guys are just not hitting the field. But like for Eli Ricks and Josh Jobe, Josh Jobe, not really a big fan, but I think for a couple of games he could stand in there if you really have to. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of competition. So, I definitely believe that going into next year. I mean, I definitely cornerback is going to be, see what they have. So,
But I
Yeah.
like it though. I like all the youth. These are long arm cornerbacks too. All these guys. They're playing at a high level. Like Ricks, like you said, he had three against Tyree, and that one was one of the biggest plays where he deflected the ball out. I thought that was a really big play from him. That's not gonna do nothing but build his confidence moving forward. Job have his time to play. He's made some good plays. He's got burned sometimes. But he's still young as well. Like these guys are young. This is a time when you got two veteran cornerbacks like Slay and Bradbury to get these young guys some playing time, and also, they're building for the future. Like these guys can be stars in the next year or two. Like as long as we got Brad, one of the two, I feel like they'd be in good shape. And but experience, that's the only way they're going to get better. We still, like you said, we still got Rogers over there who is not even playing this year. That let's have high hopes for him next year. So it's going to be good for this cornerback room. I like the way Howie, the king of the cap, is shaping up this cornerback room for the future.
Now,
Yeah,
do you guys?
yeah. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. Now, do you guys think that on after this season, we're either gonna trade on Maddox or we're gonna let him go?
No, he's getting traded.
I think he's done.
Yeah. I mean, it's too much of a liability. There was already a liability going into it when he had the first injury, and then literally Bradbury in training camp was going to nickel spot. I mean, he was just cross training, and the guy can't play that position at all. He's just not that guy. But he's a 10 million. Maddox is a $10 million cap hit next year. There's no way they're keeping him on that number next year. They're not extending him. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I can see him if you know how Howie is though, like the Eagles. I can see if he restructures that contract for less money, where it's not so much of a hit, maybe keeping him. But I don't think we should. Like this is what back-to-back years. We're not really getting too much of Maddox right now, and like when he plays, he's good. When he plays, but lately, that toe. I don't know what's wrong with that toe, but that toe's keeping him out.
That's 4 injuries in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the only way he came back the second time was because we got to the Super Bowl. If we didn't even make it in the playoffs, he wouldn't even been back.
Yeah.
So it's just that's where we're
That's
at.
true.
But so if you have Maddox start next year, say you play him next year, you have to make sure you have a liability backup. Like you have to have that, because if you don't have that, then who knows? They could keep him, but on that 10 million number, I don't know. That's
But what about Zach McPherson though? Because he didn't do better whenever he came in. Even though he did get hurt as well. But I think it would be a good backup for if we do keep Maddox as well.
Yeah, and then we have to see what he looks like coming off. We have to see what Zach McPherson looks like. He's coming off that injury too. So I mean, that's what we have to look at too. I mean, he's coming off a big injury, so it really just depends. But add as many bodies to cornerback as you possibly can, even more for camp. I don't care. Add as many. Go the undrafted pool. Go. I don't know what they're. We're not. I don't know draft wise and what's going on right now. I mean, it's too early, but. Definitely have to add more. The inside's definitely. Josiah Scott actually played pretty damn good. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised at that as well. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna keep Avonte Maddox, because we did sign Isaiah Rogers, and I feel like he's probably slightly better than Avonte Maddox. But the thing is with Avonte Maddox is just he's never available. Like. Yeah. You just came off an injury, bro. You played one game. It's like he made I don't know, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if we move on. But do y'all feel like we're gonna get anybody else before the trade deadline? Do y'all feel like our team is complete?
It's Howie, man. Howie always like to implode right about now in this time of the season.
I feel like we need one more running back.
I don't know if he's gonna go running back. Yeah, I did hear some rumors about Derrick Henry. I also heard some rumors about trying to trade Atlanta for what's his name?
But the wide receiver running back,
Patterson. Yeah, Patterson. Too, I heard inside source say something about we were talking to him about Patterson there, which I think Patterson would be a good guy, because right now I think we need to get Swift the ball more. I don't feel like it's becoming a Booby Miles thing all over again. He's not getting the ball more. When I was watching the game, I'm like, why'd you just stop giving him the ball?
I feel like when Gainwell is in, the offense loses juice for some weird reason.
Like he's not breaking up.
And it's not even like he's bad. It's just that Swift is that good. Like when you see Swift and then you just look at the other running backs, you're like, damn, man. There's it's just you look like you're watching a running back in slow motion. 30 third, red zone is still a problem right now. Like you're using, Jalen Hurts on these third and longs, still doing QB draws each time. There's no creativity. I mean, they're not using Rashad Penny. I mean, I heard from Diana Rossini a couple days ago that she put up the tweet about that the Eagles are keeping Rashad Penny, that they're not going to move him. That he, because teams probably called and said, hey, like, what's going on with Rashad Penny? Are you trading him? What's going on? They said they're going to use him for the postseason or use him towards the. I mean, I don't know what you got to get this guy ready. He needs to take some hits. He needs to get in games, like to just shelf him every single week. He was a healthy scratch Sunday. They said he didn't feel good, but I highly doubt it. Just ridiculous.
I really feel like they don't believe Swift's going to make it throughout the year. I think that's what I feel like. That's how they're playing him this year. They're playing him like, we're going to limit his carries a little bit just to keep him for the back end of the season, because they don't really fully believe that he can stay healthy throughout the whole season, which I don't like. I feel like all these guys get paid millions of dollars to play football. You play them as hard as you can. If they get hurt, they get hurt. That's just part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Let these guys play. If you see Swift, when he gets the ball, like you said, it's a different dynamic. You seen that cut he did. That was ridiculous. It looked like shady.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to let him go after this year, because he's not – this guy can carry over 20 – now you want to carry the ball over 20 times a game with him, but the guy can handle it. I mean, if you really need him to, because now I'm starting to think because I think Gainwell is going to end up like another Josh Adams or another Wendell Smallwood. I think he's going to just be another back that's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to not even start. Probably won't even be on special teams. Gainwell might just be a special teamer for another team, for all we know as of right now, because this offensive line is a huge benefit. But Swift is just, when we traded for Swift on the third day of the draft, we knew what we were getting out of him. Okay, the guy is just a dynamic. The guy is a dual threat. The guy can do almost anything. The guy 9 out of 10 times can make one guy miss or multiple guys miss. He is just. It's. I know we don't sign running backs. I understand that. Maybe he's not going to want $16 million, because it's definitely not going to happen. But it's going to be really hard for me to reset this room again after Rashad Penny leaves, because he's got a 1-year deal. After Swift leaves, you're down to Kenneth Gainwell all alone being in this room. Boston Scott might come back, just because I don't think he wants to play anywhere else at this point. So Swift has got to stay in Philadelphia.
Look, Joy, I don't see that happening, man. Like, I really don't see it happening, and I'll tell you why. We're gonna have to pay Smitty after this season. We're gonna have to pay Dickerson after this season. Most likely on Hassan Reddick. Most likely we're gonna extend him as well after the season as well. Because hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he next year. Like, if we don't pay him after the season, hopefully he doesn't hold out. But I think Howie's gonna pay him again, after this season. So I don't see it like it would be like complete, like really, really hard for us to bring back Swift. Like, I don't see a option there on their regards. Because who would you choose? Would you choose Dickerson or would you choose Swift?
Oh, going trenches. Yeah.
Dickerson. Exactly. Would you choose Smitty or you choose Swift? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what Howie does too. Like, they're gonna limit this guy's carry so he doesn't have the production to get the fat contract too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the Eagles are like really good in business sense in that way. Like, it's not fair to us, it's not fair to the player, but they're gonna make sure he's not gonna go get 2,000 yard season this year just to make sure he has this fat contract where he's getting paid to be a top end back. They don't give him his carries when they need to give them to him. I think we can re-sign him for real, like Swift, if he continues to play good without getting hurt this year. I think the key is if he stays healthy all 17 games and plus the playoffs. And if he does that, I feel like there is a chance. You guys got to realize every year the salary cap's about to go up like $25 million from contracts and stuff like that. So we're going to always have a little extra money. I know players' contracts are going to go up, but it kind of goes with each other, where it's like you're going to have a little bit more money. And we got the best GM in football right now. So if he knows how to maneuver those contracts to make sure we get the players we need in there. Yeah. Like I said, with the Penny thing, I just feel like, they want to see if Swift's going to stay healthy. They're trying to limit his carries to stay healthy. But if he does get hurt, that's when you're going to see us start featuring, Penny a little bit more
Oh,
there.
that's why I mean they're not. I mean it's inside zone or it's running with Jalen Hurts. I mean that's really all it is. Like in the red zone right now, like to have a bigger back like Rashad Penny that can run between the tackles really well. Why not use that? Why are they making it so much harder? It's already enough that with the Jalen Hurts situation right now, which I've been digging real deep into that the past like day and a half, really since the game ended last night. That there's more to this injury with Jalen Hurts than we realize, and why he's staying in the pocket a lot more. He's not bailing out as much anymore because he's been hit so much. These running backs are supposed to take pressure off of him, and they're barely using the right ones on specific plays. So it's really pick your poison with your running backs, and that's fine. You want to save Swift. You want to keep him, I get it. You want to keep him, fresh for down the line. And he looks like he's perfectly fine. I think his reps are fine and just sharing the load a little bit. But
except last game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they used Swift a little bit more in the second half than they usually used him, just by a tiny bit. I feel like they did use him a little tiny bit more, but on other games, I feel like even against the Jets, like he would get like a 1 yard, 2 yard run, and then they would just get away from him for like a multiple series, which I didn't get. Passing 45 times is already ridiculous as it is.
Yeah.
So that's what they can't get into or can't be afraid to do that. But getting a big back for red zone, I don't see why not. Like maybe they're trying to get a bigger running back. I don't know. Maybe they're, the Derrick Henry trade. I have no idea, but it's got to get fixed.
How do you feel about that though? I want Derrick Henry if the Titans are willing to trade him, bring him in here.
Yeah.
I think we trade him. He can't come here thinking, I'm the number one and I'm just gonna get number one carries. He gotta be like willing to be split carries with Swift. But if we got a Derrick Henry, I think that would like really put the icing on the cake there.
They gotta trade it. Like the thing is, like with like the Titans have built their offense around a running back, which is the dumbest idea. Like the guy is almost 30 years old. He's 29 right now, and the only way they win games, really, if they can, is when they have to give him the ball 20 plus times at his age. And you have to trade him as fast as you possibly can before he dips in production or he gets a big injury. Because if you waste any more time, they're going to be like all those Titan fans want to keep Derrick Henry for what? What's the point? Your quarterbacks, well, Tannehill. I mean, between Tannehill and Malik Willis, they suck. Their offensive line's horrible. It's all bad. It's not good. Like they got to hit they haven't hit the reset button yet. I think Kevin Byard leaving is the start of the wheels turning a little bit, but they have got to do more than that.
Now, what would be the max compensation that you guys would give for Derrick Henry though?
Man, I give
third round,
a third to a fourth,
late third round, early fourth round.
Like to show him respect, I would give him a third round pick. But like you guys, like Derrick Henry is still good, but he's not the Derrick Henry of old. He got a lot of miles on tires. That's what I'm saying. Like I'll give a third round just for respect, and bring him in here. Because I think he would add that power running back that you do need out there, and him and Swift would be like back in the day, Lindale White, and
he's got miles. He might have miles, but I'm telling you, he gets to the second level pretty damn easily. He's gonna on top of physicality, he's gonna get those extra yards. Just imagine that. He'd be unstoppable. He'd be better than LeGarrette Blount with us in 17.
Yeah.
Like no joke.
Yeah.
And he never played with a line like this. We got the best line in football. You give the best running back in football, the best line in football, and you got yourself a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when Cam Jurgens come back, they'll take so much pressure off of Hurts. Like we'll definitely be going back to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think we topped off on that point. But yeah, real quick, we got 26 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe to all three of these guys' channel. The link is in the description as well too. So yeah, let's move on, man. Let's talk about last night game. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Miami Dolphins 31-17. Let's for one, let's talk about this defense right quick, man. I want to give a shout out to Hassan Reddick because this is something he usually don't do. Like we usually see him just getting sacks, but I feel like last night he set the tone, man. Like with the run stop, he was getting tackle for loss. Back to back. I feel like he set the tone early, man. How do y'all feel about this defense right now?
Yeah, I think the Psy has, I think really, even before the Miami game, I think the last couple games, I think the adjustments have been really good in the second half. I think they've been pressing a little bit more at the corners in the second half. The defensive line has been really great. I mean, it's been good. I mean, to generate the pass rush, I mean, the coverage from your secondary to your pass rush is hand in hand. So it's got to help each other out. Jordan Davis has been fantastic. I mean, I didn't think he was going to be much of a pass rusher this year, mostly just a run stuffer, but he really has gone really far. And just fantastic. And Jalen Carter is just a disruptive nightmare at this point. I mean, just coming back this week, look what he did. Fletcher Cox is a rotational player, has been doing the whole defensive line. Yeah, 5.5 sacks for Josh Sweat, 5.5 for Hassan Reddick. Since the cast has been off, and he has been, because Hassan Reddick is very streaky. Like, there'll be a month where he has no sacks, and then there'll be that next month where he'll just start. This is the start of Hassan Reddick. Now he's going to produce like crazy. I mean, I think they played physical. I mean, physicality. So Deshaun Desai this past week was talking about, was literally talking about this week of, I think the first thing was the hype of Miami, I think really pissed the Eagles off. Like, the Eagles weren't even talked about really to even win this game. Because I thought they were talking about Miami a lot going into this game, the number one, passing offense. But secondly, how do you beat speed? You use, you get physical, and that's what they did. I didn't really like how they were, they were playing press at times, but if you play press and don't put your hands on it, that's the one thing I just don't get. Like kind of like what Eli Ricks did, and kind of put his hands on Tyreek Hill, kind of disrupt his route, and then get that deflection, which is great. But I thought they played really good. I mean, they contained the speed guys. Like, they wouldn't just, as soon as every time Tyreek Hill went into motion, they always passed the ball to him. So every time, whether whoever got the ball, they wouldn't tackle immediately. They would kind of like contain and wait, and then wait till another guy comes. So I thought they did a really good. They held Tyreek Hill to 88 yards. That's pretty damn good than what he would
damn
do.
good. Damn good.
You're not going to see another Tyreek Hill in the league. There's no Tyreek Hills in the league besides Tyreek Hill. So, we got that offer. I mean, they only had 45 yards rushing. I mean, they couldn't run up the middle. That's why they started running to the outside. So it was a physical defense, and this was the best game Sean Desai did. I thought it was a very, very good game called by Sean Desai, no doubt. It was great.
I agree. I think Sean Desai is really shocking me for real. Like, I wasn't a huge. I was in that sit and wait and see like how can he make this defense. And what I've really noticed about him is he's really good at making adjustments in games, man. Like, that's something Gannon was not doing at all. And in terms of Reddick, man, this guy's been on fire since he took that cast off. I think the first like month of the season is more like he was hurt. And that's really what's the problem. He had that cast on his thumb. It wasn't keeping him from being able to, move those linemen the way he wanted. But since he had that cast off, he's been on fire out there. Josh Sweat's getting better every single year he plays out there. He's becoming one of the best, ends out there in football. So we got to give him respect for that. And, like these young bulls up front, like Jordan Davis. Sorry about that. Yeah, these young bulls up front, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, these guys are actually playing some really good football early there. These guys are young. They're out there, making showing that they're worth, the picks that they were picked. So our defense definitely, there are a lot of young players that I like to see and hope that they can get a lot better. They get better as the season goes on. And, the sky's the limit for these guys.
True that.
Hey man, can't we do a shout out for freaking Jordan Davis, man? Because look, bro, he was doubted so much, last season. Even some Eagles fan, man, they were starting to down him last season, especially after he got hurt and he came back as well. So a big shout out to him because he got he's not only being dominant on stopping the run, but he's being dominant actually as well as rushing the passer as well, man. I think he has 3 or 4 sacks right now as well. With him and Jalen Carter, man, this defense is just being freaking out of this world, man. And not to mention Fletcher Cox as well, because it's like with them too, it's like rejuvenated Fletcher Cox as well, because he's been balling out as well, man. And not to mention Hassan Reddick on one side, Josh Sweat on the other side, with like over 5 sacks already, both of them. It's man, this defense, it's just being something else, And Sean Desai, man, like the brain of, of this defense, calling everything. Like if you had, let me tell you this: if we had Sean Desai at the Super Bowl, we would have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was saying
I
the same
truly
thing.
believe that. You know, so like, and like you said, Joey, this is the best game that Sean Desai have called. You know, and I just see it. By bringing Kevin Byard in as well, I just see it from now on just getting better from here, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the back end is like the back end is really good now. So like because the problem I'm having, I've said it already twice already in this stream, but the problem I'm having is if you have a bad safety back there, or maybe the Eagles don't have too much trust in Terrell Edmonds. Like if Bradbury doesn't get his hands on whatever safety is lined up at least almost to that side, if that's going to help. Like if that corner can't get his hands, or you're telling your corner to play press, but you're not getting your hands on the wide receiver. How are you supposed to slow him down to get that help? Like that's like just mirroring him. You're playing press to mirror him. That just makes no sense to me. I don't know. I mean, we got beat on it. So I mean, Terrell Edmonds just got tricked with his eyes a little bit. Maybe just watching the quarterback, his movement. Like I said, like these are little things that could be fixed. Like I say, offensively and defensively, there's little things that they could fix. But getting a complimentary talent like that, I mean, a really top tier talent. Like with Kevin Byard, you're good now. He just all you gotta worry about is Reed Blankenship. Just Reed Blankenship. Like I'm good with Sidney Brown, no doubt. I mean, it was first game back. I thought he was flying around. He was real physical. But once Reed comes back, now you have depth at safety a little bit. Now your worst safety is gone to Tennessee, and that's where he stays. So
Yeah.
Yo, did you see whenever Sidney Brown put that wide receiver on his back?
Wilson,
Whenever he tried to block that? Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
that's the shit we don't see. Like that's the stuff we don't see. Like people like I didn't see it because I'm streaming. Like so I'm looking up, but I'm seeing what's going on. But it's hard to follow it the whole time. But that was great.
Yeah, Diamond Crew Sports said, Sweaty J got Defensive Player of the Week. And that's what's up, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just to add on to what y'all was saying, man, I definitely feel like for one, Jaden Carter and Jordan Davis has been the best defensive tackles in the league this year, in my opinion. I ain't gonna lie, I did not see this coming from Jordan Davis, but I'm just glad it's clicking. Everything is clicking in the right time, man. I feel like we got something special with this defense. I feel like Sean Desai has added more to our culture. I just feel like when we had Jonathan Gannon, I feel like he didn't represent our culture well. I feel like he played scared, and that's not the Philly culture. I feel like what Sean Desai is bringing to our team is what we needed in the Super Bowl, and I feel like we could get over the hump if we could just continue to add on to our play. If we continue to play physical like this, and not play scared, and play disciplined football, I feel like the sky's the limit for this defense, man. So
And adding to that quickly, I've been watching some of the Cardinals game, and that's exactly why they're losing, man. Because like they come out strong, like beating teams like on the first half, like by 10 or more points, and then on the second half, he calls off the defense, and the defense plays fair, and that's when the other teams start coming back. It happened to the Giants. I think they played the Vikings well. It happened with the Vikings as well. And it happened with a couple other teams as well. So.
Well, players bailed Gannon out last year, and Gannon's trying to do that this year with the defense he has this year. He thinks he could use his defense the same way he did last year with less talent. That's not the case because a lot of these players were bailing out nonstop. But the problem we had last year was we were giving we'd be up a few touchdowns, and Gannon would just take his foot off the gas and just allow these teams to just roll on us and get quick field goals. And people were telling me to relax all year. People were saying, don't worry, we're winning. What does it matter? And I was, people were telling me to shut up most of the time. Every time I spoke about Gannon's play calling all the time. And then we find out about a lot more things about the illegal tampering between the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl, which I thought was so crazy. And I think something did happen behind the scenes. I think Gannon got reprimanded. I think there's really bad relations between the Eagles and Gannon now because of that. And we, it was tough. It was tough losing that Super Bowl. And it was tough that we had to talk about free agency like a week later. And it was really hard to get over. It really was.
Yeah.
So
we're good now, man. I feel like, our defense, like you said, with all the young talent, and like shout out to like you said Jordan Davis because like I was huge this offseason talking about everybody kind of pigeonholing him to be a defensive, run stopping guy, and like he can get sacks too. Like I know he only got three, but for his position and what he does, he still helps our defense be one of the number one run stopping defenses out there. You know what I'm saying? When he before he got hurt last year, we were like top five. Now that he's healthy this year, we were number one. I don't know if we're still number one or not, but I think we're still up there in the top five again with him being in a football game. Plus, he's adding to that with sacks. You know what I'm saying? So these guys, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, are going to wreck the league for a while, man. Like, we got lucky there. We got these guys that are going to wreck the league for at least the next 4 or 5 years. There's going to be a out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like the only issue was with the issue that Jonathan Gannon had was like he never wanted to adjust, and I feel like with Sean Desai, I feel like when he sees that he needs to make an adjust, he does it. Like I feel like Jonathan Gannon was just stuck in his ways, and it bit us in the end, man. But I'm glad we got him up out of here, man. So
You're not setting up your players to fail. Like with Sean Desai, even in training camp, he was like, like he doesn't care about throwing a player in the fire, like to see what he could do. But that's the thing. Like he didn't have first string, second, third. Like he said that everybody is going to get a chance. It wasn't a defensive coordinator that was going to play favorites, and everyone was going to get a fair shot at to be a starter. And you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to set up your players to fail. So he got to see what every player's strength and weakness was throughout training camp, and then you put them in a position to win football games, and that's really what it comes down to. Sean Desai was very big into the competition, just the competition side of camp. This past off season. So, I think good things came out of it. We won the games. We have won the games that we were supposed to win. Okay. Because we knew like the first 7 weeks were first 6 weeks, we should have at least been 6-0 at the time. But I mean, I know we lost against the Jets last week. I think they overlooked the Jets. I think they rested a lot of guys. I think they rested too many guys. And I think they were I think they overlooked just a little tiny bit last week on top of bad play calling. But you know what? Who knows? If they won that game against the Jets, who knows what they would have looked like going into the Miami game. They could have lost this game. Maybe they got a kick in the ass from that loss that they got. Maybe it really changed the way the coaching was going into this week. And, I think the players kept each other accountable. The coaches were barely involved with a lot of what was going on this week. It was really the players on top of the players. Coaches obviously have to, see the mistakes that they have done. But, I think we're heading in a good direction right now.
Two things with that is I've noticed it feels like Nick Sirianni is getting these guys extra bye weeks, early in the season. I feel like, a lot of these players you see at the last minute, they're kind of healthy scratches or they're not playing this game. They have an injury plan. I feel like he's getting them extra bye weeks in the early parts of the season so they can be available after, where it's not like they only have one bye week throughout the year now. You kind of rotating these guys through where, as some of our key veteran players are kind of getting that extra game off here or there because he knows he can afford to do it. We're 6-1. You know what I'm saying? We're one of the best, if not the best record. We have the best record in football right now. So you can kind of afford to do that. The second part of that's just this Eagle team this year, man, the sky's the limit for us. I feel like, everything's ahead of us. We're still, we're about to hit this tough stretch, but we always play good against elite teams, better teams, in the regular season. It is the garbage teams that we lose to, the Jets. Everybody knew we should have beat the Jets. That should have been a W, period. Only if Aaron Rodgers played, I had the Jets possibly beating us if Aaron Rodgers played, because that was the only thing the Jets were really missing was a quarterback, But Aaron Rodgers out, I felt like we should have destroyed the Jets. It didn't happen. We took that L, but just like last year, we were undefeated. Then we played Washington Commanders, and we thought we were supposed to beat them again, and we lost to those guys. But whenever we play against the tougher teams, the Eagles always find a way to come through. So, we're about to hit this road of tough games. And I feel like, we're set up to beat anybody, really. It's only when we play lower, competition, we kind of lower our game to the competition to where we lose.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
say this. I say this in every video though. I say like it's a week to week league. Like that's I hate like I'm on Twitter. I see everybody's like everybody's talking shit. Everybody's doing their crap. I get it. It's like oh this team faced like oh you put up this many points against that team. Well you put up that many points and we look at the schedule and yeah I get it. But it's like who's prepared every single week? Like the Eagles could have easily lost a lot of games this year, no doubt. Have they reached on all four cylinders of this offense yet? Potentially like fully all four cylinders, maybe not. I think they could maybe be more explosive. Obviously the red zone is definitely a problem. We talked about that. But even looking at like Miami, it was just like there was just something wrong about it. It was just like, yeah, they score 70 on Denver and it looked really good, but then they get killed by the Bills. And then they score 30 on the Giants. And even the Giants had some good plays against them, and Tua made a couple bad throws in that game. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, they haven't, and I look at their schedule and I was like, this is the best team that they're facing. The Eagles are the best team that they're facing. And I thought, look, Miami is good in the trenches. The Eagles are better. They have not faced defense. They have not faced a defensive line like this. They have not faced an offensive line like this as good as ours. Like they weren't ready for what we were going to bring. Especially this game was home. We were repping the Kelly Greens, and it was just a perfect night. It was great, man. It was.
There was no way we was losing that game.
No, if they lost that game with everything going on, that would have really sucked. It would have been really bad.
Yeah, real quick though. Lindy Endzone said, "Fun fact: Jalen Hurts has won 11 straight against teams above 500. Tied for third longest streak."
Jalen Hurts only lost 2 games in like the last 25 regular season games. So it's like,
what do you like 23, 25, like 23-2, something like that.
Yeah, he's only lost 2.
Yeah,
in a regular season. Like that's just who he is. Like I know everybody's trying to get down on our quarterback because he's getting these turnovers. I don't personally like the turnovers. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like he got to calm down now because that's one thing. I always say that Jalen Hurts really don't turn over the ball very much. That's what keeps him winning. But he wins, man. At the end of the day, he comes back. Turnovers make him stronger. It seems like when he does the turnovers, he comes out a lot hotter and makes plays that you're like, whoa, okay, I forgot about that turnover because you just showed me a dime. The AJ over the top and double coverage. Getting hit, like things like that really like push it. I think he needs to clean them up.
Do you know how many people in my stream that day? You know how many people, like, I swear to God, it's really toxic because if like Hurts makes one mistake, like people are off ship. I mean, it's insane. Like yeah, the fumble was bad. Like he's got to like just drop to the ground. Like he's going forward, backwards. Like he's trying to get away from all the pressure, but someone's gonna pop that ball out. Obviously, like the Jets game, the 3rd and 9 really pissed me off because if he takes a sack or if he at least throws an incompletion or he just goes in another direction with it or something, they punt the ball, we probably win that game because a lot of time was on the clock. There was still minute 40 something, whatever it was. But even in Miami game, like even after the fumble, and then like people were talking like he's Carson Wentzing it, or it's just so stupid. Like, oh, he could have folded that pick 6, the deflection pick 6, like. Yeah. Like he could have folded right there. He could have did way too much on some other plays. He could have that's Carson Wentz. Like this guy didn't do that. He came back and he scored. That's a franchise quarterback. That's what he does. Like you capitalize on your mistakes. That's what happens. Like it's all right there in front of you. And people were jumping off. People jump off ship so easily I think we're starting to find out with this little injury that maybe there's been more to it. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think there's more to it on why he's in the pocket so much, and maybe he is uncomfortable with certain things because maybe they're not unleashing him as much as what Jalen Hurts should be unleashed as, like his main skill set with his legs. I get it. Will be more to talk about in another day, but people jump ship too easy, too quick.
Let me read this to you guys, okay? Because I'm gonna read Lamar Jackson, which he's been on one of the MVP candidates right now, okay? Really? So Lamar Jackson so far through 7 games, he has 1,973 total yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 turnovers, and his record is 5-2. Okay.
Jesus.
MVP candidate. All right, Jalen Hurts, total yards 2,095, touchdowns, total touchdowns 15, turnover 10, record 6-1. It's completely like pretty much the same. Actually, Jalen Hurts is a little bit better than Lamar Jackson. One is an MVP candidate. The other one is playing supposedly, according to some
Well,
Eagles
what's
fans, and all the other fans, he's playing
Well,
bad.
here's the difference of what you're going to get between Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. How many rushing touchdowns do each of them have? Not overall touchdowns. I'm talking because the league don't respect rushing touchdowns. They respect the.
Yeah.
That's why Hurts doesn't get the respect because the rushing touchdowns are the same amount of points as you do. That's why
Yeah.
he never gets respect for that. He never
And I
gets
hate
the same
that,
amount of points. I know. It's always like that. They respect like Mahomes last year. I know Hurts missed the game, kind of messed everything up last year, but they just have more respect on the passing touchdowns than overall touchdowns. It's just it's stupid.
And for me, it's like, look at the wins, man. Like, he wins. Period.
Look at the
Like,
team.
you can hate all you want. He can throw 20 interceptions in the game. If we win that football game, we won that football game, my God. Like, we 6-1. How you
hurts
get
you,
mad at your quarterback being 6-1?
It still hurts you for some
You know?
weird reason.
And what's crazy though is like what I was saying to Bruno yesterday. Like the difference is between like the whole Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott differences is like Jalen Hurts can turn the ball over, but he'll come right back the next possession and come down and score. He showed you that last night. The thing is with Dak Prescott is like he when he turns the ball over, it's at the crucial moment of the game, like game on the line. See, Jalen Hurts to go through his progressions through the game, and then he might make a turnover, but he comes immediately right back. He say, "All right, that was on me. All right, I got y'all this time though." Go right back down and score. So that's the difference between a franchise quarterback and a quarterback that hasn't won you anything for 8 years.
In 8 years, yeah, that's
He's already made it farther than Dak, so I don't even listen to any of them Cowgirl fans when they talk about Dak Prescott anymore. It's like, Dak been in the league long enough. He done showed you enough. He's another Romo. He's another one of the last 3 quarterbacks for the Dallas Cowgirls.
they've choked it away, dude. They've had good rosters. They've had 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard running back, double digit interception corner. They've had everything, man. When they had Amari Cooper, that was the best. That was the best
their team was. They should have never traded him.
For nothing, for a 6th-round pick, for peanuts, dollar chips at the gas station. That's what they got.
And look what he's doing over there in Cleveland. Looking good.
And since Hurts and Sirianni, but all they've been in is playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hurts has never not made the playoffs since he started quarterback right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to playoffs the first year. I know he lost that first first game against Tampa, but our team wasn't ready for that.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Our team wasn't ready for that then.
It's almost like I can't imagine with Jalen Hurts being on the roster that they don't make the playoffs. Like, it's almost impossible to think that because everything has to come together. It's when a new season starts, it's the GM making all the moves to put all the pieces in place so the Eagles look very good on paper, and then it comes down to the coaching and bringing everybody into OTAs and bringing everybody into training camp and the preseason games, which I think the offseason program needs to change. I mean, to be honest with you, like you got 2 new coordinators. I mean, coming off a Super Bowl, no teams are 6-1. I mean. No, with 2 new coordinators, it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
I do think we need to play some preseason football.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to change that next year. We got to play some preseason football.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. But moving on, man. Hey, we got 31 people in the chat. Hey, get the likes up. Hey, share this live stream if you haven't. We thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for coming in, man. But hey, we moving on to the next topic. How do you guys feel about this, man, right here, man? 5 games with 125 plus receptions. And they say he's on pace for 2,000 yards receiving.
He's such a diva, though, isn't he?
I love it. Your receiver needs to be a diva. For real. All the best are.
Hey.
Randy Moss, T.O., Jerry Rice.
I'm not going to say names.
Are divas.
I'm not going to say names. But there was some stuff circling a few weeks ago, and then people were putting up some stuff about that little sideline thing, and he was, about the Tampa game. I think it was a Tampa game or whatever, where, it's just one of those things where you have 2 number 1 receivers on this team, in my opinion. Okay. And sometimes you're just not going to, sometimes the receiver's not going to have the matchup. It's just going to happen. It's been more of an AJ Brown season this year. I think he's tied Megatron right now is for consecutive 125 plus yard games. And I think he could do it against Washington next week. I don't see why not. But yeah, it's we haven't had a receiver like this since, I mean, a big physical receiver like this. I mean, really
Ever.
since
T.O.
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 I mean,
Yeah, well, he was worth every penny. I'm so glad. Jalen Hurts,
like,
For real, this
we would
started
not
in
be
the
having
off
him.
season, man. When everybody tried to go Team Smitty or Team AJ.
I
You know,
hate that
even
shit.
They
after
both on the
that,
same
Smitty
team.
the next game, he was kind of complaining about not getting some balls a little bit. And Smitty don't really complain that much. You hear little rumors like, he was saying something about how he didn't get the ball enough that game. Like you said, we got two number ones. My deal is like even Donovan McNabb came out and said, right? He was like, hey, and I know that game that Donovan was talking about, Smitty had more targets. I think they said Goddard had more targets, and even Swift had more targets again. But I do feel like he has some kind of credibility when he said it, because I noticed it as a fan. Like after he went off on that sideline, Jalen started force feeding him the ball,
Well, that's
and
what they shouldn't do.
and
Right.
they should
And then
never do that.
y'all
I
gotta
feel
think
No.
like
about it. They
that's
best
what
friends
our
too,
offense is
so
so great by is we have so many playmakers. You don't have to force feed nobody. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's open, throw them the ball. Now I know AJ's gonna go get the ball. Jalen throwing it his way, but I feel like after that, after he was, crying about that, you start seeing Jalen kind of force feeding the ball. The next game, Jalen kind of started off the game force feeding him the ball. Like I feel like you don't ever want to take that dynamic from your offense. You have too many star players, Like I loved how they started getting Goddard back in the When Goddard started talking, and then Goddard wasn't really even talking about it. It's more like the media telling Goddard, like, "Why aren't you involved in the football
But
game?"
the
And then now
problem,
all of a sudden we're featuring Goddard. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like,
it
don't
just
feature anybody. I don't want coaches that are going to feature people off of hearsay. Either the players, bitching about it, or the media bitching about it. I want you to stick to your coaching plan and get whoever is open the football. Like I think if we ever get away from that, that's when our team would kind of
but
crumble.
this happens it's because the cameras show it. That's what makes it worse, and they turn it into another picture. Like the camera. This happens to every team every year. Like there's always shit going on between every team every year. Always happens because the camera is on that situation, so they make it look really bad, and it always happens. But I totally agree. Like they shouldn't force feed anybody. Smitty's statistics are down. We got it. We have to try to, like the Rams game. Like the Rams game was already enough. Like Quez Watkins had his first game back, and they forced the ball to Smitty in the end zone, and Quez was wide open, and he was in his peripheral vision. He was in the middle to right side of the back end zone. So I would think that Hurts saw him back there. I don't know if he did. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the one thing that's going to ruin games. That's going to ruin your chance to win. Like people just got to shut up at times. And there's nothing wrong with emotion. There's nothing wrong. But if you're winning and things are going right, if it's a close game, like back in 21, where they weren't even using Smitty as like a number one at that point, they were using him as like nothing really that year until they force fed him that ball to break Deshaun Jackson's rookie record that game. Like that meant, which was kind of, crazy. But, if you're losing in a game and nothing's working out, and then Devontae Smith in 21, remember, I forgot it was the Giants game, I think. He went up to the sideline. He went up to Nick Sirianni. He was like, yo, give me the ball. And they never gave him the ball. Like that's fine. But if you're already winning and like whatever is working, like don't just feel bad for a receiver because he's upset on the sideline. And, because I feel like Nick is very close to these guys and he feels like he wants to put confidence in these guys, and I don't know. Like, I think that's just the wrong move to do. I don't want the nice receiver that barely does anything, and like I can't stand that shit. I want dogs. I want people. I don't care if they can play whatever. It's just it's not even like they're lashing out. If these players aren't lashing out the coaches, they're not lashing out the other players. It's just like in the moment, you're just venting and like that's it. It's like, and everyone makes it look like they paint a horrible picture of it. And there were some videos that were coming out that were really like just really disgusting. I thought it was just like, dude, like, and are they complaining about it now? The big diva now, look what he's doing every single week. Look at the $100 million. Like, Titans fans are still hate on AJ Brown, still pissed off because he wanted more money. And like because this is what he's going to do. And this was the perfect situation for AJ Brown. They made the trade, they got it done, and look what he's doing. This is the best receiver we've had in years. You better enjoy Smitty and AJ Brown, because I'm telling you, like, you better enjoy this ride, because if you're ungrateful now, you're never going to be grateful later on. I'm telling you.
Before you go, Bruno, I feel like we should actually like when like third downs. I feel like AJ Brown should automatically get the ball every time. Any crucial play, like you saw the down the field pass with double man coverage, like you. He got the dog in him. Like he wants the ball. Like anytime your wide receiver is playing like that, just throw it. Just throw it to him, man. But yeah, Bruno, what you got to add to that?
Man, look, man. On the first thing I wanted to mention something that whenever Joe was talking about on when
Dude,
it was open in the end zone, like on that play, I think Hurts was just done with him already. You know, because he didn't pick up that third down, man. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that on AJ and Smitty was blocking for him, and instead of him running through the middle, he tried to go on the outside,
Yeah.
and he ran out of
yeah.
bounds. After that play right there, I think that's when Jalen Hurts was just done with Quest. You know what I'm saying?
A
Yeah,
trust
oh
issue.
man, oh my
But even
god.
if you go back to
Remember
I
how I
think the week
reacted
before that, Goddard was open all those times. You know, you seen Goddard open all the times he didn't go to him. You know, it was after he started bitching was when he was like, okay, I'm going to AJ, I'm going to AJ, I'm going to AJ, and it was just like I feel like for at least those two games for sure, like he missed some wide open people trying to
Oh
get
yeah,
AJ the ball. And I'm not
yeah,
even saying AJ. Obviously, AJ had good games, right? You know, 5 straight games over 125 yards. He's having great games. Like it'd be worse if he was doing this and getting more interceptions and getting less yards. And AJ, we're dropping all these balls and we're not seeing AJ produce with it. He's producing with it, so that's the good part about it. But at the same time, it makes your offense like less explosive. I feel like because now they know who you're featuring, and they know who you're going to, and they're going to try their hardest to stop that.
yeah. But they ain't got no
Agree.
choice
I
but to
mean,
do
but
it.
look, even though AJ complained about getting more targets and getting more balls on pause on again the game against the Jets, those receivers they were dropping balls, man. They were just dropping pause
Mhm.
again. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining. If it's not AJ Brown, nobody should be complaining about getting more targets. 'Cause, whenever the ball comes to AJ Brown, it doesn't matter if he's double or not, he's getting it. Like this past game right now, Smitty dropped another easy drop as well. You know what I'm saying? And I love Smitty, man. Hey, let me tell you, I freaking love Smitty.
They-
But he can't be dropping those easy ball either.
But all these guys drop balls, man.
All right, we gotta stop talking about dropping balls. We gotta call this.
No, for real. No, for real. AJ drops balls for real. He dropped them too.
No,
Like,
yeah,
all of them drop
Smith.
them.
Yeah, Devontae
It's
Smith
part of
dropped
the game.
two. Yeah, we hold this receiver core to a high standard now. This ain't James Ortega-Whiteside. This isn't Ray Galore anymore. So this is a whole we hold to a higher standard now. So like when Devontae Smith, even last game, not Miami game, the game before that, when he dropped the ball, it pissed me off. I was pissed. Like, cannot do that. But I think because you want to get that catch and run so fast, that was from midfield too against the Jets. I mean, he threw to the 30-yard line. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the chat is killing us right now.
Yeah, dude, funny. Weezy been cracking up the whole time. He always like that. So yeah, so to add on to that, so are y'all in or out on Quez Watkins at this point?
out.
I love Quiz. I
I'm
don't know
out.
if I
I'm
can
out.
ever see him out.
I gave him a chance. I'm out.
Y'all know
I
I'm
think
like one of the biggest Quiz Watkins fans out there.
I think he's a better burner than Zacchaeus is. I think Zacchaeus does a lot of the dirty work too, really well with the blocking. I think with this Julio Jones signing, I think it's a total upgrade. I honestly think it is. I think because this week he only had one catch. Like it was, he had a couple of days of practice, whatever. So I feel like he's gonna get more acclimated going into next week. But having Julio Jones that has no pressure on him, he's not a 1, he's not a 2, he's not the focal point of the offense, but he is a Hall of Fame wide receiver that he had a lot more offers. He could have went somewhere else. And because he came to the Eagles, I think it was because he was going to get starting. He was going to start. And that's one of the reasons. And plus the record was great and the team is great. So I think you have an upgrade at this position. I think just having Julio in the slot is going to give attention. Just him standing there is going to have attention, regardless whether he catches the ball or not. Dallas Goedert getting involved is very important. So I mean, I loved how they get Dallas Goedert got involved in the offense in the first half, and then a little bit in the second half had the screen pass. So
yeah, I think Quez is. I really feel like when he gets healthy, he's gonna still bring it. Like Nick said it. Like the speed. Quez has got like cheetah speed, for real, for real. Like he's that fast. Like he's a fast guy on our football team. He's one of the fast guys in the NFL. Period. Like that. He's missed some opportunities. Yes, he has, but I still feel like signing Julio Jones takes even more pressure off of him. You know what I'm saying? So you're not only are you not going to be your number two guy no more, you're not going to be the number three guy no more. You know, and really that's really if we add Dallas Goddard and Swift or one of these running backs, you're really like 5-6 guy in terms of progression, in terms of most of these offensive plays. Now that you took a little bit more pressure off him, that's only job you got now. Like they gave you an opportunity to have a couple of plays. Now you really only got one. Run down the football field. You know what I'm saying? Get down the football field.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. He's made some mistakes, but I mean, it's like Quez has been hurt like what twice already because he missed like a good amount of training camp too. So, the Eagles can't just wait till he gets back from IR and then like reset again. You know, it's just I think even the Super Bowl last year, I think our two weakest positions in that Super Bowl was running back, and I think it was wide receiver 3 because you can't count on Quez for the big moments. I'm sorry, but you can't. That big catch in that Super Bowl,
big plays too.
No, I'm not saying. Look, I throughout the year he did good, but I think when it comes to like that big moment where like Hurts put that ball perfectly right through his hand and went right through his hands, and I understand it's one moment. I don't want to define him off of one moment. I completely get it, but I think
the Super Bowl one.
Yeah, I'm talking Super Bowl. I'm talking Super Bowl. Okay. But yeah, that too. I mean, it's happened. Like I feel like Quez has gotten better every single year, but he can't even stay on the field right now. So I felt like the Eagles. I was really shocked over the Julio Jones signing. I didn't even see that coming because then I thought to myself, well, they're going to keep Zacchaeus obviously, so they're not going to have Devin Allen as the number 4. They're not going to They don't value Devin Allen that much. Britton Covey's going to stay at the 5 because he's just a punt returner right now. There's nothing else going to happen with him. So they had to make a move here, and this is like a 1-year rental move. A guy that's just going to help this offense and get attention at that wide receiver 3 position. I think you have experience. You have a vet, which isn't a bad thing at slot corner. And I mean at the slot position. So just let him eat, man. If when he gets his chance, if Hurts is gonna use his legs and extend the play or whatever, like just him, like I said, just him being on the field, he's gonna get attention. It's gonna open up a lot more for the other guys. So
I feel like too the red zone is where he's really gonna explode. Mm-hmm. Now you got AJ, Julio, Goddard. If you're talking about big body receivers in the red zone, that's really gonna help out a lot having a big Julio Jones in that red zone, man. And like you said, number 3 receiver, like Julio knows he can burn every third cornerback, every linebacker, every safety in the league. Yeah. He might not be good at the burn the number 1 cornerback anymore, but he can damn sure can burn, the number 3 quarterback in the league on your team, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like when he said he's ready to come back dominating, I feel like we gave Zacchaeus, like you said, he only had 3 days to practice. And we're a team that give respect to our players. You know what I'm saying? Even with the whole Gainwell thing, I feel it's more respect that we give Gainwell from what he has done. Zacchaeus for what he has done. You heard Nick Sirianni talk about, that doesn't mean Zacchaeus is out of the offense. He's earned it from what he done. It's a respect thing that our coaching staff has to where we got to let these guys play. But, man, starting next week, man, you about to see Julio in that 3rd slot. He about to do his thing, man. Like, he's going to do his thing at a high level. Like, Julio don't want to go off into the sunset, knowing that he's a Hall of Famer already, being this guy that, doesn't play well at the end. He has an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. That's the only reason why he's probably still even playing football is to win a Super Bowl. And I think he's going to come out here and, do the thing the rest of the year. Like, he don't have no pressure on him. Like you said, Joey, he's not number 1 no more. He's not even number 2 no more. To be a number 3 and you're a Hall of Famer already, man.
I mean, no pressure, no
nothing. Just line up. Stop these 3rd and 4th string cornerbacks, man, all day. All day.
At the opposition in here, Ready Red, what's going on? He said he investigated. Hey, the Titans has been good to us, man. Hey, appreciate y'all. Tighten up. We tighten up too over here in Philly. Appreciate you. For sure.
Yeah, well, the Saints too. The Saints are another team that love trading with those two.
Trash. He sucked.
Were they 2 and 3 right now?
Yeah.
He was yelling at Chris Olave on one play, and he was yelling at the offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, they're done. The Saints are
Do we
done
still
too.
have the best? We have the best record in the league, right? Who else
Yeah,
got?
us and the
There's no one
40.
else 6-1 right now, right?
And
Us and
who's winning
Chiefs
right now? Hey, and everybody in the chat, put the score if y'all
0-0.
watching the Vikings
It's
and the
0-0.
49ers. Oh damn.
Oh, the
Okay, I
Niners
need the
are
Vikings to
5 and
win.
1, huh?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
need the Vikings to win so we can get the 1 seed. We the
Yeah.
2 seed right now.
But we're gonna find out the next few weeks because I know that he's gonna be missing a couple guys the next few weeks.
Home.
Purdy's gonna be missing a couple guys.
Yeah, they got Debo out. He's out for a while.
Hairline fracture for a few weeks because I felt like in that Browns game, like because Purdy hasn't dealt with any adversity, man. Like it's been like peaches and cream every single game. But as soon as he I think CMC is going to get run into the ground. Like at this point, like I feel like he's not even going to make it to the playoffs. And if they lose him, they might be screwed. Elijah Mitchell ain't going to do shit. So
actually, he did get hit with some adversity, man. On last game against the Browns, and he looked below average, man. Tell you the truth.
I ain't gonna lie, their defense.
McCaffrey went down after Debo went down. Trent Williams went down, but he came right back. But without Debo and without McCaffrey.
No. I was saying before that point. I was saying before that point, he hadn't dealt with any adversity. That game, yeah, he looked horrible. I mean, he looked like I'm saying like that's what really shows. He looked average at best. Like he didn't look great.
It's kind of like the Miami thing. Like you don't play good teams, you're gonna look great. You know, even like last year, think about the Niners all the way up to the NFC Championship when they played us. Oh, Niners so great! Oh my God!
Look at the Bills. I think we
destroyed them. Like they weren't even competition that game.
I think we're gonna beat the Bills. I think we're definitely gonna beat the Bills.
I just lost the Patriots, man. Like really?
You know what Carson Wentz? So I ain't.
That's trash.
Bills. We was giving them the business with Carson Wentz. We was going there and kicking their ass. So.
Yeah.
Hey man, man. Go ahead, Game. My bad, bro.
I just feel like a lot of people got overhyped about the schedule that we got. You know, I feel like most of these teams that everybody worried about we didn't play last year, we would have beat last year. You know what I'm saying? Like we would have beat them last year. We just didn't play them last year. And we're gonna play them this year, and we're gonna beat them this year. We were better than them last year, and I think we're even better this year. So we're gonna be better than them this year. Like we shouldn't even really be worried about the schedule. I got the Eagles going 15-2.
We got it.
I was gonna ask y'all that. I got us going 15-2 now. It was 14-3, but now I got 15-2.
Yeah, they're doing another.
Let me tell you this, man. Look, and even on the beginning of the season as well, I was never really worried about the players, you know, or without schedule and stuff like that. Wasn't really worried, especially like the first 2-3 games. It was just the coordinators, you know, and the play calling. Now, Sean Desai of the past 3 games. He's been freaking phenomenal, man. I'm not gonna lie, he's been phenomenal. You know, the past 3 games. If he stays like that, our defense, like nobody's gonna be able to stop our defense. You know, now it goes to Brian Johnson. You know, now this offense, this past game, it was a lot better. Okay, even though there was some questionable calls. You know, like a quarterback
drive
in the
first drive,
first and goal or third and goal. Like what the hell, you know? And there was a couple other, you know, questionable calls as well, you know, that he did. But overall, he ran the ball like we wanted him to run the ball. Maybe he should have run a little bit more, but he ran the ball. If he keeps improving, you know, on game after game, like I don't see nobody bearing any injuries, knock on wood. I don't see nobody stopping the Eagles, man. Like nobody.
Yeah, I think
when it get cold.
Yeah, like even like we're going to be facing Washington this week for the last time this season. Like even when they faced Washington last time, I think the adjustments were okay, but I still felt like they gave up way too much. Like they made Sam Howell look a lot better. Sam Howell only had 11 incompletions in the game. I mean they made him. I mean they're good. I think they're good, but I think they made him look way too good. Mm-hmm. Sam Howell's the most sacked quarterback in the league right now. I mean
they just lost to the Giants.
Yeah, and they're going to come in pissed. I mean, we're going to be going over there. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to be pissed off. So we got to show up. We got to show up.
Division games are always tricky.
Mm-hmm.
But Joey, remember too that against the Commanders, Sean Desai the cornerback, they weren't playing as high as they are playing right now. Like they weren't playing on the
We
receiver.
playing
They're
off his head.
a little bit more conservative as well. So in the middle of the field, like they had like a 8 to 12 yard gap between the receiver and the cornerback. So that's why somehow in the middle of the field or the receiver was getting open like by like 5 to 7 yards. So it was an easy throw pretty much the whole game.
Have they benched Forbes the couple games already? Like they've benched Forbes the last few weeks. I mean, he got a little bit of playing time in the Giants game. He came in really late, but I think they've benched his ass the last couple weeks. I think. I don't think he's really played. And that matchup, AJ Brown might have a big. I mean, I really want AJ Brown to get another big game and beat Megatron's record. I don't want them to force it if they don't have to, but I really want them to get it.
Would you guys say Hurts' development in terms of, 'cause I hear this a lot, is Brad Johnson? That do we really like? You hear Brad Johnson's been with these guys since high school. You know what I'm saying? He's been on our team for the last 2 years, and we just automatically, as fans, thought this guy was going to come in and be that much more better than Steichen. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been here with Steichen. He's been here in college. He's been with the guys since high school. That he's going to be that much better with Hurts. And I feel like it's like we just restarted the whole cycle again. Remember, I know it's Nick Sirianni's offense, but he did that second jump when he was in the same system 2 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like he's in a new system again. Because he's not calling the same plays. Brad doesn't call the same plays we've been running.
We got a lot of developing pass plays too.
It's getting Hurts into a rhythm. He doesn't know how to get Hurts into a rhythm. I think that's been one of the biggest problems. Like you don't dial up the first 4 or 5 plays that work. I mean, to get your quarterback comfortable, how are you? We know Hurts isn't regressing. I mean, there's just been some bonehead plays at times. I mean, I mean, just because he's been next to Shane Steichen doesn't mean he's going to be just like him, identical. I mean, you would think, but going into the season, I didn't have an issue with Brian Johnson at all. I wasn't even worried. I was worried about more Sean Desai than Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, the beginning of the season was bad too because Hurts was getting hit way too many times. Like they were running with him so much. Like I don't know what they think he is, but he isn't Michael Vick. He's good with his legs, but he ain't good. Come on now.
Yeah.
I think it's just getting better every week. I mean, it's looking better every week. I mean, look, you got 2 new coordinators. You barely played any. The whole thing about joint practices having more value than preseason games to me makes no sense. Like, and these joint practices, you can't do a lot. Like, you can't tackle 100%. You can't hit the quarterback. If you're a defensive lineman, you can't. I feel like when you get to the quarterback, you got to slow down. You know what I mean? You can't. It's not game like. I mean, and Nick thinks it's more game like, but I think it's definitely got to change going to next offseason. They got to at least. You only have 3 preseason games, so play guys for a quarter, play guys for maybe 2, maybe a half, and then rest them the third game. And then they need more snaps. It's that the joint practices are just not enough. Plus, with not having some of the older guys haven't played really at training camp. Some of the older guys haven't played in a game like situation since the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean this team didn't gel together. It just didn't gel. So we really went to the season like, look. We played the Patriots, right? This weather was really bad. And what happened? Like, Mac Jones started throwing dimes. Like, as soon as the weather cleared up, they made their adjustments. With this offense, I feel like we just don't make adjustments. And that's what the weather stopped. And Brian Johnson just stayed put. He didn't change anything. It just looked very vanilla, very bold, it looked very plain. So it's really come down to getting Jalen Hurts into a rhythm and the adjustments of the offense. Like Sean Desai is adjusting, and that you're adjusting every game. Like it's impossible not to adjust. You're always going to adjust. But defenses adjust to our offense, and then we don't adjust back, and that's been the big problem. So that's been what it is. That's
facts. I always thought Desai was going to have the worst, but he's actually showed me way more than I
look. I mean, look. At the end of the day, like Vic Fangio knows all our players. Like he was with us all last year as an assistant. He knows all our players. And then like the apprentice beats the master. Literally, Desai beats his master in Vic Fangio. He was at the Sean Desai was a defensive quality guy for a few years at Chicago when Fangio was the defensive coordinator, and Fangio with the Bears in 21, I mean, he had no talent that year on that defense, and he was still top 5 in sacks, and he created ways to get pressure on quarterbacks. The only thing he was bad that year with the Bears was he was bottom 10 against the run, which, he's got the talent for that, and look what we're doing defensively against the run. Number 1 team against the rush. So I think Desai is he's growing on me a little bit. He's definitely growing on me a little bit, no doubt. No doubt.
For sure.
And you just gotta keep it going, man. He just gotta keep the same way that we've been playing. He gotta keep the same mentality, the same play calling. With it doesn't matter if we play Sam Howell, it doesn't matter if we play Patrick Mahomes. We gotta put pressure on the quarterback, especially if we play really good quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. We gotta pressure them. They cannot stand in a pocket and ding and dunk here and there.
I just feel like too, we got the talent. That was the biggest benefit Gannon had last year. We knew he had horrible scheme, but we had talent, man, on that defense. We got talent on the defense. For you to not to have a good defense, you gotta be trash, really. For real. We got too many star players on this defensive line in this front seven, you know what I'm saying, for you to be trash. You know what I'm saying? You need to have the number 1 defense with the players that we have on this defense. So it's you got a plus because you got this high level, high caliber defense. All you have to do is not put them in shitty situations. That's your job as a defensive coordinator on the Eagles. You got these star players, just don't put them in shitty situations. And they produce for you. You heard Sweat today talking about, I like Desai because he lets us kind of be free. We kind of do what we want out there. You know what I'm saying? He's letting these guys go out there and do what they do best. And that's really what you need.
Jonathan Gannon's is a mute, bro. Every time I watch a game, I put out a tweet. I just put 4 pictures of Gannon on a tweet, and I said, every time I look at his face, I just want to punch him in the face. That's what I said. And it's true.
Earlier.
Because he's just like that the whole game, no emotion, no I
keep the shades.
I remember his season opener speech they showed on there where you're talking to the player and they were just looking at him like he was stupid, you're I want dogs out there. And everybody's like,
I want effing killers.
That was horrible.
Yeah, fire in your gut.
Bruno, did you take the bus? My actually didn't take
that
the bus.
That was awkward.
My actually didn't.
Did anybody take the bus?
Greyhound.
Oh man.
Why am I here? Why am I in this building? As long as I'm getting paid, I don't care. I'll do whatever the team asks me. But that guy, nah.
Yeah, that was an awkward moment. That's for sure, man. I'm pretty sure all of them were they just wanted to get the hell out of there at that time, man.
I would be shocked if one player. I would be shocked if not one player got out of that meeting and didn't say anything. I'd be shocked if no one.
You can see it on Hollywood Brown's face. He was looking at him like, bro, what? You just asked me, did I take the Greyhound bus? What, bro? Tweaking. But we've been in here for 1 hour and 17 minutes, man. Hey, we got 17 people left in the chat. If y'all haven't subscribed to these guys' channel, make sure y'all subscribe to all of our channels, man. We thank y'all for supporting us. And do y'all got anything else y'all want to add before we get out of here, or is something else we need to talk about?
No, I think we're
wrapped. We're pretty good there. I just want everybody to know, I think Jalen's gonna get better, guys. Everybody just chill out on Jalen.
Yeah, I know.
Let Hurts keep doing this thing. Like I said, I don't care if he throws 20 interceptions this year, for real. If we go to the Super Bowl and win, he can throw 90 interceptions. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. He can be the worst statistical quarterback, whatever. I said statistical pause. But you know what I'm saying? Quarterback out there in the world if we win the Super Bowl. And that's one thing Jalen does do is he wins football games, man. To only lose 2 regular season games in the last 2 years, man. You got to give this guy credit. You got to give him a little leeway. You got to give him a little slack. And our defense, like you said, man, I think our defense is definitely going to keep getting better this year. Every single game, you're going to see him get big. And now you start to – even Nolan finally got into the sack mix this last game. We've been waiting for Nolan Smith to make a big play. And he finally got a big play. You see Jordan Davis, he still gets that. Sweat's on the roll. Reddick's on the roll. Like these guys are really keating up right now. We might still catch the sack record by the end of the season. We still got a lot of games left. You know what I'm saying? Like they started out slow now. They're starting to really hit it up, and we're starting to get turnovers again. We didn't get a turnover for a while there. You know, you see Big Play Slay over there making got another interception for himself. You know, we're starting to get turnovers again. So, you know, the Eagles are still like in that phase of, like you said, no preseason. We're still getting used to each other. And you know, we had some injuries. You know, on the offensive side, I really feel like that injury bug did kind of hit a little bit with, Jurgensen going now. You know, Lane Johnson missed a game. You know, he finally gave up his first sack in 2 years or something like that. But it's not even a big deal. Like Lane's still the greatest. We're gonna get better as the season goes on, and
Man, he missed another field goal.
guys, stay positive and let's keep supporting our birds, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, and to like whenever it comes to Jalen Hurts as well, man, especially like some Eagles fans, man, I think like because especially like on Twitter, they get too rowdy, especially how Cowboys fan talks mad trash, about Jalen Hurts, all this picks, all this turnovers, and all that crap, and look, man. Jalen Hurts is not like Dak. He's never gonna be like Dak. Jalen Hurts is way better than Dak. Jalen Hurts is a winner, man. That's all Jalen Hurts know how to do is win games. Like you said, Bergang. It doesn't matter if he throws 2, 3. I don't care if he throws 5 interceptions in a game. If he wins the game by 1 point, 10, 15 points, it doesn't matter. A win is a win, man. And that's at the end of the day, that's what matters to us. That's not what matters to the Cowboys fan. That's not what matters to Commanders fan. But that's what matters to us: winning the Lombardi, winning football games.
And plus, you got a GM that's the best GM in the NFL. So I mean, you can't compare to it. No, anybody that follows Howie Roseman's footsteps is always 10 steps behind. That's how it is.
Right.
He's the best. And he'll get better and do his thing. It's really going to be up to Brian Johnson the way he puts his offense in a good position, but. I think he's getting better, but I feel like really the first 3 games of the season where it was like our preseason. I mean, I felt like we were really trying to find our way, the coaches, and it was just so out of whack. I mean, we were winning, but we were after like 5-6 games. I was like, all right, once we get to the Miami game, because I was really worried about the Miami game. Like by week 3, week 4, I was like, yeah, we're gonna have an issue with Miami, but it just gets better over the week. So, just gotta keep it going. That's it. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you, Bird Gang, for coming on our platform. You too, Joy Shakes. I know y'all got stuff going on, especially you, Joy. You and I like when you and Philly 500 got going on. Maybe we can get both of y'all on the channel at the same time. Yeah, we already had y'all singly, so we gotta get both of y'all on the channel at the same time next time, maybe with the Cowboys. But I want to say, man, appreciate y'all for coming on our platform, man.
Definitely.
This is really huge for us, man. I really appreciate that. And we're gonna get out of here on 3. On 3, we're gonna say fly Eagles fly. So on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Fly Eagles fly.
Fly, baby. We out.
Peace.
I'm out.